My name is Chris Ake, and I'm 34 years old. I got my first job when I was 16 years old as a bag boy, and I was employed until I was 24 years old. In that time, I've worked dozens of different jobs, and I also been an employee for about 8 years. I also started my first company during my senior semester of college at the age of 22. Since then, I've sold a few companies, I've started several different more, so I've been an employer for going on 12 years now. I've experienced both sides of the job market, being an employee and being an employer. Back in the day, the message was go to college, get a job, save up for retirement in order for one day to retire. And over the last decade, I've seen the hustle culture blossom and be your own boss become a thing. So the question is, what's the best path? Well, since I've experienced both sides, I thought it might be good to talk about some of the pros and the cons of both of them. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna give my general take on all of it. Okay, so I wanna start things on a positive note. Let's jump into the pros. So the pros of getting a job, number one, you have immediate cash flow. Generally, you get a job, you have a wage, you have a salary, you immediately start making money. Now, again, your salary obviously is going to be based on your experience, based on the value that you bring to the organization, but you immediately get instant cash flow every single month. Okay, and reason number two is you generally get some kind of benefits. So benefits are going to be like a 401k, dental, vision, general health insurance. So those are some pretty good perks to having a job. So the third pro about having a job is generally you have more of a structured schedule. It's more set. Clock in 9 to 5, 8 to 4, whatever that is. Usually you don't have to work super late hours, again, depending on the job, but that's the general pro of having a job is just more structure. You know what's gonna happen from a day-to-day standpoint. All right, some of the pros being a owner and owning your own business. Number one, I would say is you have unlimited freedom. You're the boss, you call your own shots. You get to decide when you work, how long you work, how often you work. The schedule is up to you to make. The second pro with owning a business is you actually have unlimited earning potential. And yes, you could start from a garage and build a $1 trillion market cap company. Just think about Apple. Owning your own business, being your own boss, your potential limit is endless, depending on how much value you bring and how much you work. And one of the last pros I want to talk about, I don't think too many people think about or talk about when they start their business, is you're building an asset. You have the potential in the end to sell it. By the way, I did make a video about starting a business, little plug here, go and check it out. But even if you're broke, you could start this business, and this was the model that I did that allowed me to sell 2 companies. Go check out that video. Link's gonna be in the description. I hope you get some value from it. And hey, if you're gonna start a business, I hope that helps you out. Now, when I started my first business, I didn't really think about this because when I started it, I just needed to make money. I needed cash flow. That was the only thing I was thinking about. But a big, massive pro owning your own business is in the future, if you do it right, you could sell for millions and you could use that to retire or do whatever you want. All right, we gotta talk about some of the cons. Being an employee, con number one, you could get fired. I've seen some of the top executives who thought they were safe in their job be let go or fired. You have no control over decision making, so that's always a potential. The second con, negative reason of being an employee is generally you have a cap on the income that you could make. Now, if you're in sales, you could make commission, it's kind of unlimited, but I would say for the general employee, you have a certain cap of the amount of money that you can make. And the last thing is you have a limited amount of freedom. What do I mean? You can't just take off whenever you want to take off. You can't go on vacation for 2 weeks. You have to plan around your PTO and your time off and submit requests. Now, that is a little downside, again, because you don't have that unlimited freedom that you would if you were a business owner. All right, talking about the cons of being a business owner. Number one, you're always on the clock. There's no clocking out. It's 24/7. A client could call you, an employee could quit, something disastrous could happen while you're on vacation. That's happened to me several times. That's definitely one of the cons if you don't want that or you're not used to it, but just always expect to be on the clock It is a 24/7 thing. The second thing with owning a business, a downside is usually, you're not gonna make instant cash flow right away. Money is gonna come later, especially if you're building something from the ground up. Whereas opposed, if you had a job, you get instant salary, instant money, instant wages. It's always a gamble when you start your own business. Okay, and the third thing, I would say a downside and a negative of being a business owner is it is extreme stress. You need to adapt to stress very well because every single day, I promise you, there's going to be something bad and something good that happens. You land a big account, an employee quits. A client cancels, a customer wants a refund, something good happens. It's always this constant sway of good and bad throughout the day, and it can be high stress. So you have to be a problem solver, and you have to just go into it knowing that's gonna happen, because I promise you, it will happen. Had to get all cozy with the fire rate here. So here's the main takeaway. The main takeaway and the philosophy that I've always had when I decided to quit my job and really pursue my business full time, I always had this philosophy and mindset of you can always go back to doing what you did before. And let me give you an example. I used to wait tables, and I quit my job as a waiter to pursue my first company. And I always thought, hey, if this thing fails, it doesn't matter because I can always go back to waiting tables because I know how to make money with it. I'm pretty good at it. So I didn't really care. And any time that I would go to a different phase in my life, I'd always think about that. I wouldn't have fear because I knew I can go back to doing what I was doing and everything will be fine. So to me, it was worth the risk in trying to see what would happen so I don't have regrets down the line of not trying it out. And generally speaking, owning a business, as you know, it's very high risk, but it's also high reward. And it just depends on what your life goal is, what your personality is. Do you like constantly being on the clock, on the go, unpredictability? Do you deal well with stress? And if you don't, then owning a business is not for you. And it is a-okay to be a number two, to be a number three, to have a job somewhere, to find a vehicle, to make you money, so you can keep your sanity. Because there's a lot of people that I see who try to start a business and they fail because they want to clock out at 5 or they don't want to work on the weekends, and it's just not for them. It's totally fine. Again, you just have to kind of think about it, analyze it, and see what best fits your life path. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about starting a business or what it takes, running a business, comment below, message me. Definitely more than happy to help you out. Again, I've been doing this for 12 years, started multiple companies, had a lot of failures. You can go check out my channel, subscribe to it. I talk about these stories and kind of give that experience. So, hope you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one.